Hello, welcome to a new Keruga video. A lot of you guys told me in the comments of the last Keruga video you want to see more gameplay of this deck. So here is league number 2 with the Karn Search for Tomorrow list. So I made one little change from the past video. So we added the Pithing Needle over the third endurance. Just a minor change, but a very important one. I think Pithing Needle is definitely worth. I just forgot to add it in the first league. Hope you like this one as well, and if you want more, just leave a comment, as always. So if you guys want to see a deck tech, just check out the first video, I leave the link in the description, and let's get to the games. Okay, so match number 1 against Burn. Opening hand looks really good. Especially against Burn, with the Leyland Binding already of my Omnath. They suspend turn 1 with Bolt. We draw land, play tapped. Because Sacred Foundry, Tug of Triumph lets me cast my Leyland Binding on turn 2. For only taking 1 damage, only 1 mana. So that's pretty good. They follow it up with the Vortex, which is definitely the best turn 2 play. But I'm kinda lucky they didn't have a creature. So they even have a second Vortex. So we correct the Tug off. Leyland Binding the Vortex. Sure, go to my turn. I'm probably gonna upkeep, tap the land. So they in response throw me a Boros Charm. Yep. Down to 10. Top deck at the Ferry. Pretty good. And they missed the land drop, so I can just go to Ferry, bounce the Vortex. If they don't top deck a land, they can't replay it and activate it. So let's just hope they don't have a land. Yeah, and they just choose to shoot me 6 damage straight, which means we win, because we do have Omnath into fetch land with the Fair in the battlefield. So that means they can't even throw us a Skullcrack in response. And that's just game over. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the sideboarding. Looks like I did not sideboard at all. Sometimes you can bring in Force of Rigor. I usually bring in 1 Force of Rigor. And cut 1 Search for Tomorrow, because Search for Tomorrow is really bad against Rolling Vortex. But looks like I didn't do it this game. Let's see. Okay, opening hand might look okay in the first glance, but Search for Tomorrow really awkward in this matchup. So I don't know if that's even a keep, but I do have creature removal. And creature removal is worth a lot, but looks like they didn't have a creature heavy hand as well. They start with the Riftbolt again. And the Sunbug Canyon on turn 1. So they shoot me, and they have the Rolling Vortex again. So I'm glad I didn't suspend my Search for Tomorrow. Let's see, I draw another Search, not great. They play Rolling Vortex number 2. Awkward. So I could just go fetch a Plains, go to Fairy Bounce 1. I think that's just gonna be my play. Yeah, top deck another Binding. Binding's not bad, but they just follow up with 6 damage straight to my face. And I'm down to 4 life. Miss my land drop, so don't have an Omnath in hand. So that's already pretty game over. Let's see, I discard hand size even. But they just looks like they. Okay, that happened pretty quickly. So what happened is they just passed, obviously forgetting that there's a Teferi on the battlefield, because they have still 4 cards in hand. And I just went for Hardcast Search end of turn, and got my another Plains and Leyland Binding the Vortex. So, which is kind of awkward, because I still don't have Omnath mana, so even if I drew it, I could not cast it. And I'm just dead. I mean, they can't do anything in the end step, but they're probably gonna kill me in their turn. I don't have counterspell, I don't have life gain here, so yeah, they just throw me a Boros Charm and we die. Let's look at game number 3. Let's see if I still have the same sideboarding. No. Look, here I made the change. I brought in 1 Force of Rigor over 1 Search for Tomorrow. Reveal my Keruga. And again, awkward hand. You see I'm gonna mulligan that hand with Search for Tomorrow 2 lands, because Search is just so bad. And I bottomed the Search, went to 5. Let's see how this goes. I mean, I do have a Leyland Binding and an Omnath. So that's something. They also went down to 5. Which I guess I'm favored with if we're both mulliganing to 5. To the 4th land. Definitely important when my game plan is to resolve an Omnath. They go end of turn Bolt. Play another Vortex, rebinding it. Easy. Okay, we take Keruga to hand. Don't even care about Far Rising. They go Swift Spear, Boros Charm. Sure, I'm down to 10. They only have 1 card in hand though. No 12 for the figure, not doing much. I just kill the Swift Spear, pass. Next turn, hope I draw land. And if some of those game actions go too quickly, I'm not really used to the replay editor that much, so you have to excuse me for that. I try to pause and explain everything afterwards, but yeah. They just went Lava Spike, 1 card in hand. Sure. End of turn, Quacker Triumph, try card, hopefully a land. Yep, and even the fetch land, so we play Omnath. They have a Skullcrack, but we go down to 3. But still, play the fetch land. We pass. Then, whenever they have response, I can just crack my land and gain more life. So I don't really want to do it upkeep, because if they crack the Sunbaked Canyon and bolt me in response, I'm just dead. So I can't really do anything here. But with them playing the land, I'm pretty safe to just gaining some life. It goes Goblin Guide, 0 cards in hand, I'm on 6 life. And okay, don't draw land, but doesn't really matter, they don't have anything that deals me 6 damage. Just go Keruga. Don't find the land, but like I said, I'm 6 life, they can't get there. Yeah, they have a Vortex, sure. I can just go to Fairy, bounce the Goblin Guide, attack for 9, shoot them 2 damage with fire, and they die to their own Vortex. Beautiful. We go upkeep fire. Own twig on the stack, they die. Nice and clean. 2-1 against Burn. Okay, match number 2. A really hard matchup in the past. We're playing against Belcher. But I guess with this version of the deck, I'm set up a bit better with Karn. And I even have the hand on the draw, but it is a turn 3 Karn, which they go Balaget, which immediately tells me they're on Belcher. So we go Breeding Pool, Suspend Search, and we're just hoping to just find the third land on top. And we do. So they go for something, I guess. I just upkeep, tap their land. Yep, they have a land, they play Manamorphose and pass. Okay, so it's our turn 3, we resolve the search, play a Karn, grab a Pithing Needle, and Karn just shuts off the top element on its own. So that should just be game. Yeah, opponent scoops it up. Another win thanks to Karn, which we would usually not win. Like, this is a really hard matchup. Okay, so game number 2. Let's see if we get another Karn hand. We have a Karn opening hand with a Fire Ice and double Leyland Binding. So we can stop their turn 3. And if they just have to hardcast the Charbelcher, we also have an answer for that. But they just go for turn 2, recross the path. And they show us their deck. They do have Magus of the Moon, which we have to be careful about. And they probably just stacked on top of their deck the Reforged Soul, which has Miracle 2 and just reels us both. So I'm just gonna go upkeep, tap the land, in the hope that that's their top card. And then they just can't do it. So they go to upkeep. Oh no, I tap, sure. Then they have a small stop, which tells us they do have the Reforged Soul. And they can't do anything, they don't even have another land. So I'm feeling pretty good here. My opponent just has to go, I don't know, for recross the paths again and set up his deck again. Shock in land, play recross again. Well, sure. But we just dropped the Karn. And they showed me the deck earlier, and they showed me they don't even have an answer for Karn. So that's just game over. Really nice. Okay, match number 3 against Living End. So what's impressive about this league is we hit a lot of bad matchups like Burn, Belcher, Living End. So we're just gonna see how it goes. They grief me turn 1, take my ring, have double solitude. So they exiled Architects, which tells me they're on Living End. So I'm just go ahead, turn 1 solitude, their grief. So if they Living End, I get my solitude back, they don't get a grief. So at the moment, they need a lot of cyclers if they wanna go for the turn 3. And they do have 2 cyclers there, so they're in a good way. I do nothing but a land. They go another cycler. And at the moment, I can probably beat that board if I get some help from the top of my deck. Just gonna go for the Fable. And they go for more cycling. So that might mean they don't have it. Or they're just scared. But yeah, they go for the Wild Outburst here. Which, they grieve my solitude and I take the Oniphant. It is looking pretty bad. I choose to keep the binding. Okay, I drew binding. So let's get rid of the Waker. Yeah, they can attack me down for 11 down to 8. Can attack back with the Solitude. And let's see how this goes. Because I drew the Omnath. I attack. Usually the rule is if you have a lifelinker, you don't stay back to block, you just attack. Simple rule, maybe not always true, but most of the time. So I can take the Street Wave and just jump the Riverwinder. Just waiting for a land so I can cast my Omnath. So I'm binding the Grief. I take the Street Wave. Looks like I don't jump. Oh, right. Yeah, for sure I'm not jumping. Like I have Reflection Solitude here. So try the Fairy, but I instead chose to just go for the Solitudes. So I take their thing. I can attack for 6. And there are some cards I die to here. Like I died to another Violent Outburst because I don't go up to 9. They have 8 power on the battlefield, so I'm risking here. I think here it's looking really quick, but I tanked definitely for a minute on that decision. But yeah, they cast an Oniphant. I just do the same plan again. No? Oh, I go for end of turn. I went for the safer line, going end of turn Solitude. Keep on my Solitude so I can either try to double block or just jump. And I chose to double block. Because I just wanna play my Teferi this turn. So yeah, but they do have the Force. No, they have a Violent Outburst in response, which... Okay, they get 1 Riverwinder, but I get 2 Solitudes. So that's kind of awkward. Okay, I just go minus, try card. I really want my 4th land. Okay, they attack, I double block. Like I have the Fairy on the battlefield, my hand is stacked, so just gonna go for the Fable. And they're just in hard cast mode. Yeah, they cast another Generous Ant. Draw land, but it's tapped, so I discard Omnath and the land to a forest, which kind of awkward. But I can still play my Omnath, play land, gain some life. So yeah, go for the Omnath, play the forest, and pass. They cast another Riverwinder, they attack. Let it go, draw another Teferi, play the Fairy, bounce it. No lands have been drawn. It's turn 12, and we only have 4 lands in play, so that's kind of unlucky. But there we go, draw another Plains. Play the Solitude, exile the thing, just pass for now. I'm not really worried about another Living End because 1, I have the Fairy, and 2, my graveyard is just bigger than theirs. They just cost another 4/4. We have Reflection Solitude, so yeah, now we even have the fetch land. Here, like, there's no way to lose, so I think yeah, just plus. Do I play my Karn? Probably. No, I'd go for the Keruga. Interesting. I think my choice, yeah, just play the Keruga and draw a million cards. This moment I just don't care what they do. My graveyard is bigger than theirs. I have my Teferi, I have everything I need. Like, there might be on 39 life, but that doesn't really matter. Just attack with everything. Yeah. Just play another Omnath. Fetch land. I think now I played a Karn and maybe I went for Chalice, maybe I went for Tormod's Crypt. Probably went for Tormod's Crypt. They're trying to force here, but I have a Teferi, my friend. Oh no, I got the Phyrexian Metamorph. Oh, also nice. Yeah, I just wanted to end the game quickly, I guess. I copied their Riverwinder and just moved on. Like, at this point, with my graveyard being bigger than theirs, having the Teferi, there's just nothing really that can happen. Bounce the guy, just attack with everything. They probably block the Omnath, then I can just play another Omnath. And I just chose to fire them main phase because I don't want this card to end size. Yeah, let's fast forward this. Like, there's nothing really they can do. Just Leyland Binding their blocker, attack with everything, fire the rest, or like just cast a huge Rocking Ballista, attack. And they are dead. Game number 2 against Living End. Let's see. We're on the draw. And this hand does not have a lot. I did keep it though. I guess my reasoning is against the Living End. It doesn't really matter what cards you have, because they either gonna grief you or they're gonna force your play. So it's basically like a scam. You just hope that you draw good and that's it. And I draw good because I just top deck a Teferi. I just don't like mulliganing into Oblivion against Living End. Like, you mull to 5, keep a hand with lands Teferi, they either grief your Teferi or they force it and then they just win. So I just don't mulligan much against their deck. So they go Living End, getting back 3 creatures. And I thought I'm not gonna Solitude here, because let's see how it goes out. My plan was probably just to bounce the Raker, or bounce the General's End, I guess. Yeah, bounce the... No, yeah, bounce the End. And then next turn I can start hard casting my Solitudes. So they go to a Teferi, rest at me, I go down to 9. We solve my search. Get the planes, I guess. To one Omnath. Alright, so I think I still went for Solitude, yeah, because if they subtlety my Omnath, I'm just in such a bad shape. So I just went to hardcast Solitude, exile the Wake, and then I can just block the Shardless. And if that gets subtleties, I still have a second Solitude I can play here. So they go end of turn food, I go in response, kill the guy. And then, let's see. So they cast a Grief, take my Solitude, attack. Don't block. I just play Omnath, get a fetch land. And I think I just went for Chalice on 0, yeah. Makes a lot of sense. I do beat the board currently. Guess I was wrong. They Got the Fury, they attack Karn and me. Makes sense. I do have another Omnath into ring. Nice draw, definitely. Such, definitely not a nice draw, because I only have 4 basics in my deck. But now with Omnath and the ring, it should be game. So I draw Solitude, I activate, they go Nimble Extractionist, counter it. Which I have never seen before out of Living End. But sure. They don't have great attack since I can Solitude the Fury, block their guys. Okay, they went for the big attack. I just totally blow them out. They have 7 cards in hand, no subtleties. So I pluck here, pluck here, pluck here. So they can trade their Grief for one of my Solitudes. All they have left is a Shardless Agent. My graveyard also really stacked. Double Solitude, Omnath in the graveyard. Even if they get rid of my Chalice somehow, my graveyard still beats theirs. End of turn, I think I would maybe tap the land. Oh, I guess I'm not. Definitely think it would not be bad to tap the land, but looks like I didn't care that much. Because the only thing I'm really scared of if they have 4 mana is a hardcast Subtlety. But at this point, there's not much that can happen. They just cycle Rewinder, float 3 mana, go Wild Outburst. And it looks like they forgot I have a Chalice on 0. Or they just don't know how Chalice works. But I would just imagine they forgot. So we go double Fable. And they might as well scoop it up. No, they go for Exile Living, Suspend Living End. You don't see that one often. So I just loot a bunch. Game is over. Let's just fast forward. Like I play my land, exile the blocker, attack. And if they're not dead, then Karn will finish the job. So yeah, I think I went Karn, Walking Ballista, GG. Very impressive 2-0 against Living End. Alright, match number 4 against actually a friend from my local game store from Vienna on Murktide. Let's see. Now without Cavern of Souls and without disputes, I think the matchup is a lot closer than it used to be. So I think this matchup is pretty 50-50 now. I do have a nice opener though, 2 removal spells, I can work with that. Having an answer for Ragavan is just so important. Obviously at this point I didn't know he was on Murktide when I kept that hand. It's a pretty good hand against Murktide. Pretty threat light, but having removal spells most important thing. Okay, so they do nothing. We pretty much know right now that they're on Murktide. We just straight up went for Keruga hand. Okay, they do nothing. I just tried the fairy. Let's just slam. They spell pierce, obviously. Always having spell pierce. Okay, they don't draw a land. They just pass. We draw the land, not bad. We go for the Karn. See if they have more counter spells. And they sure do. So he fetches end of turn a basic island, which is telling me that they do have Blood Moon. I don't wanna hardcast my search here, I just don't mind suspending it. Okay, they found the land and they still just pass. Tick down our search. To a Fire Ice. Just pass it. They pretty much have to do something fast, like the late game. I don't know. As long as I'm hitting my land drops and they miss their land drops, it's looking good for me. If they go iteration into iteration, it can easily go into their favor. But right now it's looking pretty good. I choose to not play my Omnath here. Like, I don't need to do anything. I have so much removal. Yeah, he also doesn't do anything. And he has 7 cards in hand. I have 7 cards in hand. So if I don't draw a land here, I'm gonna go for my Omnath. And that's what happens. So I try the Omnath. If it gets countered or not get countered, it doesn't really matter. But to my surprise, it resolved. But I sadly don't have a land. And would go to discard if he doesn't do anything. And yeah, he hits it, I go to discard. I discard my dead Karn at this point. I think every other card is just better. And they immediately go for Dash Ragavan, and we just tap it. Because we do want to find more lands. So, we don't draw land, we snap the Karn. They pitch Subtlety, which is a 2-for-1 for us. So we take that. Okay, they go Dash Ragavan again. We Fire Ice tap again. Again, no land drawn. Put that to Fairy, so we can try to go to Fairy. If they counter, we resolve our ring, and that's just game over. Yeah, they counter Fairy. We get a basic forest. Play the ring on 17 life. Which is just... Now it's pretty impossible to lose. Draw another ring. So I'm gonna fast forward this. So he goes Channeler. I just ring, draw more cards, go Omnath, it resolves, fetch land, and they just scoop it up. Yeah. That was game number 1. Game number 2, let's look at the sideboard. I think in this matchup I just brought in my Endurance and cut the Karns. So yeah, I brought in both Endurance, cut 2 Karns. Karn is pretty clunky, like... It just feels so bad if you play a 4-mana spell and they just spell pierce it. I mean, Ring is just much better because it wins you the game immediately when you resolve it. But Karn also can just get bolted. He goes for the Chandler Bauble, turn 1. Winning a fetch land, for sure. My hand looks great though, a lot of interaction, a lot of removal. Pretty light on the lands. But yeah. They go for Preordain, attack, bolt me. Okay, that went really quickly. So what happened is, so they attack, before damage they bolt me, so it would be a 3-3 channeler, and I thought at that point, okay, I might as well Solitude it. I'm gonna Solitude it anyway, so... I mean, I could have waited a turn and went for the Leyline Binding, but... If I do that, I don't play around Blood Moon at all. They go for another channeler, another Preordain, and yeah... Still representing Spell Pierce. I draw a Fable. I don't really want to play it into Spell Pierce. I'm just trying to Leyline Binding the Channeler, and if they Spell Pierce that, then I can live with that. But it looks like they don't fight over that. If I remember correctly, they just slammed the Murktide on me. Oh no, they went into Ration. Ration Steam Bands. And Dash the Ragavan, yeah. I didn't have an answer, and they still have Spell Pierce backup. So I just give them the Fable. Oh, they force. Okay. Only 2 cards in hand, but they Dash Ragavan again. I can't do anything against it. I remember not trying my 5th land for a long time, this one. And yeah, they drop the Murktide. I draw the Omnath. I play the I played the Karn. And they heat it, and I just went for the bridge, I guess. I think this was my bait, so here I can just Solitude the Murktide. Yeah. So the bait happened. They went for another iteration. And they Dash Ragavan on my Karn. And I really need to draw another land, because I still can't play around Spell Pierce or anything, but... Oh, they just had a counter spell, yeah. Last unknown card, just a counter spell. They dash in the Ragavan. Hit me. Hit nothing, at least something. Draw Teferi. Teferi doesn't do much here. I think I went for the Fight the Ragavan instead. Because I can play the Teferi plus it, and he's gonna dash hit me. Or I can Teferi minus, then he's gonna dash at Ragavan. Just... Let's get the Ragavan out of here before I play my Teferi. But they had backup Ragavan and Pyromancer. So my search comes down. I finally get my 5th land on turn 8. Go to Teferi, bounce the Ragavan, but to another land. So they can just bolt, dash, hit me for 4. I draw, I think, another land. No, I draw the ring. Okay, the ring is good. Can't complain about drawing the ring and the solitude. They just probably just cast the Ragavan. They're flooding pretty hard as well. They just did not even cast the Ragavan. Sure. I draw 2. Blaze Search. Get my Keruga. They go for the Ragavan. I solitude. Go to 3 and they have the lightning bolt. Unlucky. So I think I could have went for the solitude, but the thing is, if I just hardcast my solitude and they counter it, I just have nothing. So I thought instead I'm gonna just solitude, pitch solitude, and get my Keruga for next turn. But with them having the bolt, I don't get another turn. So let's go to game number 3. On the play, with not the best hand in the world, but mulliganing usually doesn't make it better. So I start off with a turn 1 search. Hope they don't have a Ragavan, because I would need to solitude the Ragavan. I can't let them hit me a bunch. But they do have the Ragavan. So yeah, let's just... so let's just draw that Karn. Never didn't have it. Just kill the Ragavan, pass. If they dash another one, I'm gonna solitude. But they just pass. Resolve my search for the Morrow, get a plains. So I'm kind of safe at some point against Blood Moon. Not that safe, but I have a lot of outs. They go cycle for an island, play the island, pass. So I know my opponent pretty well. Like I said, he's a local for my game store, and I know he's not gonna tap out of counterspell mana. Like when he has counterspell, he's just not gonna just let me do my thing. So you're not gonna see him tap out at any point. So I'm pretty sure if I go end of turn solitude, he's not gonna counter it. So I'm just going for that line. Yeah, he doesn't counter it because he's probably scared of a ring or a Teferi, which I could resolve, which is definitely the right thing to do. But he's gonna get 2 for 1 a lot here. Because I do attack with my solitude, the end of turn gonna bolt it. Then it's gonna cast a second channeler, if I remember correctly, yeah. And I do the same play again. And again, I get my 2 for 1. I'll just attack. He lets it go. And I'll just pass. He bolts it again. While he's tapped out, I'm gonna endurance his graveyard, so he can't drop a Murktide or heat or anything. He goes, pitches Fury, another 2 for 1 for me. He only has 2 cards in hand, so I'm feeling kinda good. I mean, I also don't only have 2 cards in hand. But still. I draw a ring, I slam it. He sacks his Violet Islet in response. Doesn't have the counterspell, it just resolved. The ring on 22 life is just game over, so let's fast forward through this. Drawing an Omnath, just play it. He counters, doesn't really matter. Since I draw so many cards, like nothing he does matters at this point. You can play a Murktide, that's fine. I just Leyline Binding it. Draw more cards with a ring, cast another Omnath, and he's just gonna scoop it up. No, choose not to scoop it up. Going Karn, get Chalice, and that's just game over. Yeah, once the ring lands, I'm on a high life total. Opponent has no creatures on board. There's nothing you can do about that. So let's play the last game against Go for the 5-0. He's playing a pretty cool Asmo deck with Greaves and Archon of Cruelty Persist kind of style. So some of those decks played Ghost Vengeance Emrakul before, but I'm playing now 2 times against this deck, and it looks pretty interesting. My hand looks great though. I have a turn 2 Leyline Binding or a Fire Ice. I think like I just pass here. And opponent goes for Thoughtseize, if I remember correctly. At that point I just have to go Sacred Foundry, Leyline Binding. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Asmo is gone. He plays a Saga, plays a Cookbook. And I did, but there's two options I have. Like, I remember correctly, I tried the fairy, yeah. And so let's talk about this. So if I can go tap the land in upkeep, so they can't make a construct. But I, at this point, don't know that my opponent is on the Archon, version. They might also be on the Ember Cool Ghost Vengeance plan. So I'm pretty scared of that, so I'll just go to fairy. I don't think it makes much sense to bounce the Saga, so I just bounce the Cookbook, because if he wants to make a construct this turn, he can't replay the Cookbook. So I'm just gonna go for that. I drew that gun, which is pretty good, so let's go slow for this, because here I made a pretty big mistake. So they make a construct, I go that gun, that's pretty simple. Or they make a second construct, in respond I go that gun. And then I don't want to fast forward because it's gonna go too quick, but he makes a second construct, I go that gun, kill this one. And then he grabs a Cookbook. I should have Fire Iced here, but I still didn't know if I want to hardcast search, but he plays on the Cookbook, so at this point I think it's 2-2, and I think, okay, I'm just Fire Ice it, but I have not in the consideration that the opponent just makes a food and makes it a 3-3, so that's a huge mistake by me. So I go instant speed, suspend search for Mower, which is a thing you can do with the fairy. Pretty cool. So I go Omnath. Draw another Omnath. Okay, so the next option would be, he attacks my Teferi. Do I just jump, or do I just let it go? And I think I just let it go, which jumping, and so I can next turn bounce the construct, is a line that I don't mind, but I got rewarded by my play, because they did have another creep to take my another Omnath. So glad I did not jump. I'll just do another land, so I can go land, get my Keruga to hand, play it, go from there. Draw 2 cards, draw Binding, not bad at all. So my life total is still pretty healthy, so if I remember correctly, I get another Asmo, tries to kill my Omnath, responds, I gain some more life, and he attacks only with the Grief. And I just... Did I Leyland Binding? No, I did not Leyland Binding something. I think because I was scared of Archon of Cruelty. So I saved my Leyland Binding, but here I wanna play my things, so I just went for the token. Interesting. Because I want to attack. Yeah. Because now I switch to aggressive mode. Played a Fable, which was great because my 2 cards in hand were just not amazing. Take 6, I don't mind. I'm winning the race here. I draw Karn, which is amazing against all his artifacts. But I drew a ring as well, so I just go for the ring instead. Yep, draw a card. So I try to go to combat. He discards 2 cards and attacks my Keruga. And I misclicked and forgot to attack with my Goblin. But sure, that's of course awful. Make a lot of punts this game. He finds another Saga. And no attacks, obviously, because I have protection. So search ticks down. Draw another Solitude. Draw 2 cards with my ring. Okay, and here I think I went for the Karn. Yeah, shutting down all those cookbooks definitely is nice. Just got the Torment script, so I just can get rid of Archon if they find a persist at some point. Take Asmo and attack, offer the trade. He obviously doesn't take the trade because he wants to attack my Karn, but I'm not gonna let that happen. So he takes up the Saga, attacks my Karn, I go Solitude. At this point I have untapped Reflection with Solitude and the Karn going with a ring. So we're just gonna fast forward because there's no way my opponent gets out of this. Yeah, concedes to the Omnath. Alright, game number 2. We are on the draw. with a great looking opening hand. Turn 2 Fire Ice, turn 3 Fable with a backup Solitude if there's an Archon. So he goes turn 1 Thoughtseize, takes my Fable. Hand's still fine. I draw Binding, amazing. Play the Triumph tapped, they go Saga, cycle their Troll, play an Asmo. Which I'm probably just have to Leyline Binding. So I go for Flight Strand, get the Triumph, just go ahead and Binding. Which post-board, Binding is not as great because they run maybe a whole playset of Haywire Mites. I don't know how many exactly, but a whole bunch. And he's probably gonna get it with his Saga. So he makes a Construct. I'm gonna just fire the Construct. Okay, then it goes. Makes another Construct. Gets a Cookbook, or plays the Cookbook and gets a Shadow Spear. Interesting. Take down my Search. Play a land. Get Keruga to hand. Pass. They go another Saga, play a Grief, take my Solitude, attack. Which don't love my spot right now. Second Saga, the constructs are gonna get huge. But I at least take down my Search, get another land, find a land. Probably gonna Solitude the construct. Yeah, what I also could have done is tap the Saga, but I think that's too mana inefficient. And he has another Grief to take my Keruga, which is really disgusting. I thought another Solitude though, but I thought I'm gonna save it for the construct because the construct is gonna be huge. So I just fire the Grief and get in with my lifelinker. He makes a construct, gets a Haywire Mite, kills my Solitude, and now he can get back his Asmo, which I'm in an awful position right now. Let's see if I top deck something, and I do top deck the Leyline Binding, which is very good here. So he gets rid of my Leyline, gets his Asmo back, gets another Cookbook. Constructs, I probably have to kill the Construct, it's too huge now. But he equips the Grief and I have pretty good attack, so I have pretty good block. I mean, I excel the Grief, trade with the Asmo, still have my Leyline Binding for the Construct. But they top decked another Saga. So maybe I should bring in Fossa Friga in this matchup. But I'm not sure. Draw an Omnath and a Search, okay. Definitely good here. So I can't really complain, I top decked pretty good the whole game. They go equip the construct and I top deck maybe the ring, please? No endurance. Okay, so I search a land, gain some life. No attacks. They make another construct, probably get another Haywire Mite. And I don't really have any good blocks. So I really need to draw something good from the top. Which ring is not really that good because it can just get exiled by a Haywire Mite. So I don't know what I'm looking for. Karn would definitely be the best draw. Karn into Ensnaring Bridge. Let's see what I draw. Yeah, I drew the ring. I play it and I think he end of turn went exile with Haywire Mite and I just... That's very kind of him, so I can at least draw one card of it. And it's a Fire Ice, which I'm not gonna fire off immediately, since this turn I have protection. So I'll save it for next turn. Yeah, no attacks. Plays a Molecule. Let's draw something good, please. And no, just a land. Gain some life. Save the Fire Ice for the construct. And I can't even double block the other construct because he could make it into an 8/8. So I'll just jump, draw a card, and it's a Teferi, which I could Teferi bounce the construct, but I thought it's gonna be better to bounce my own Leyline Binding so he can't switch equipments. But I got rewarded. I drew another Teferi, bounced the construct, still have my Leyline Binding up. So everything is looking good right now. So he equips, plays another Cookbook, and I just binding it. I have my Omnath, I have my Teferi. In 2 turns I can draw another card with Teferi. He just drew a Daredevil, so he's gonna make a lot of game objects here. I just cast his Daredevil. Gain some life. Top deck another Fire Ice, so I don't want to kill it. I'm probably just gonna pass, tap it next turn. And they equip it with the knife. So yeah, I'll just tap it down. Draw a Karn. They draw another Saga. And they could get back the Reanimator with the cookbook, and that's what they do. And they attack a food. Play Karn, get a Snowing Bridge. Draw a ring. For turn. So they are now just locked under the bridge. Reanimator doesn't get rid of it because there's a Karn on the battlefield, so I have all the time in the world to draw a million cards with my ring. So I went for the coating. I don't really know if I agree to that. I think explosives on one would have been better. But yeah. So they make a construct. Make another construct. Search for another Reanimator. So I have the Fairy for loyalty, so next turn I can just bounce a construct. Obviously draw more cards with the ring. 25 life. There's just not much that can happen. So I had one other Omnath, draw more cards, draw another Teferi, so bounce one construct, kill the Urborg, play a Teferi, bounce another construct, have the endurance, and just pass. And I think they're gonna concede pretty soon. Yeah, they scoop it up, and we got a trophy. 2 trophies in a row. First 2 leagues I played with the deck, 2 trophies, so that feels really amazing. And yeah, if you like the new format with the voiceover and you want to see maybe other leagues with the voiceover, just let me know in the comments. Just comment, like, subscribe as always. And yeah, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.